Greetings and salutations. Well, just working on cleaning up bench here after a marathon weekend of reloading. I did over the last month, I did 4,200 rounds of 9mm, and I just wrapped up last night. I wrapped up 1,100 rounds of, or excuse me, 850 rounds of 223. So wanted to share with you an experience I had with some new powder. If you're a reloader, this is what I've been using for my 223. What had I been using? This is what I used the last time I loaded 223, and I like this powder. It measures, and it measures accurately round after round through my Lee equipment. This is pretty old powder. That'll give you an idea. Price Varget now. Yeah, it's a little bit more than $17 a pound now. But it's hard to come by. It's hard to find. Believe me, I looked. So I went down my not so local reloading supply, extreme reloading supply, out in Henderson, and they had probably, let's say, had 10-15 pounds of this AR comp. So I figured, hey, it says AR on it. It's got to be formulated for, and it's got a picture of an AR on it. It's got to be formulated for ARs, right? Well, this stuff is about $27 a pound. Everything else was over $30 a pound, and I bought 5 pounds. So I bought 3 pounds of this and 2 pounds of pistol powder. But I was struggling with this all afternoon. It took me about 4 hours to reload 1,200 rounds of 9mm, and it took me and all the cases were prepped, and the same thing with 223. I had all my cases prepped, primed, ready for powder, and it took me probably 6 hours to load 800 rounds because I had to stop. When I charged the powder, I had to take a little hammer, my little bulleting hammer, the hammer used to take the bullets apart, and tap on the tube, because what happened was that the powder, it's an extruded powder, and it bottlenecks at the neck. You get a couple of pieces of powder that are bigger than the other, and it just log jams right at the neck. So the reason I'm making this video, because I'm sweeping up the floor here, and this is just the general area right underneath the reloading machine. That's not on the shelf on the bench. That's not within the 8-foot perimeter around the bench, because there's still a lot of powder on the floor. This is just what I've swept up on the floor, right up underneath the bench. Just to give you an eye for scale, that's probably, well, there's a little bit of trash in here. Let's pick that out, and we'll throw it on the Lee scale and see how many grains it measures out at. Well, it's over 100 grains. Let's cut this in half. Let's call that 94.5 grains. And 5.5 or 55.5. 102.5. So that's 252.5 grains of powder that was swept up off the floor directly underneath the the reloading bench. So the problem with that powder is that it's extruded. It's an extruded powder, so it probably would work fine for 308, or 223 not so much because the neck is so small. I reloaded 15 rounds with I've got about probably 6 or 7 pounds of 25-20. What the hell is that? Accurate 25-20. And when I finished up the 3 pounds, I did get roughly 850 rounds out of 3 pounds of powder, and that was with the Alliant website calls for 25.7 grains, I think it is. I think that's a max load. I loaded them up at 24.5, and it's enough to flatten the primers out. But I loaded up 15 rounds of that 25-20, and that's not really formulated for 55 grain. But I went online, and I don't recommend you do this. You're taking your life in your own hands when you do this. But I went online to some forums and found some guys that had some recipes for 25-20 and a 55 grain bullet, and I used that information to come up with a formula of my own. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want you to copy me. But suffice to say, those worked fine, and that powder is a ball powder, and that works a lot better. And I believe there's some residual in here. Probably a little bit of everything in here. Yeah, this is cannon fodder now. But I believe this Varget is a ball powder. But yeah. So just be warned, the purpose of this video is to let you know this is my experience, this is my opinion. I'm not an expert, don't claim to be, don't take my word as fact. It's my opinion, it's my experience. And with the Lee classic turret press system and the load, what the hell does Lee call it? The auto disc, the auto loader, that fits on the die, so you charge anyway. With the Lee loading equipment that I have, it has a tendency to log jam at the neck, and then when you release the round from the die, the powder comes pouring out all over the floor. It's frustrating as hell. So I sat here, pulled the charging handle, and then tapped on it with a little hammer, tapped on the tube that the powder goes through to get all the powder to dislodge and get inside the cartridge. And even still, I had a lot of spillage. So there's 10 bullets worth right there. I'm sure I could probably find enough powder on the floor here to charge a few more, and I need to get this shop cleaned up because this week I need to do some engine work on that small block, and I need to get out so map gas torch and heat up the rods so I can get the pins out of the pistons and blah blah. And I don't need gunpowder laying out here with open flame. Yeah, I don't need to burn my house down. So 308, I haven't tried it yet with 308. I don't have 308 dies yet. But 223, I'll not buy this stuff again and use it for 223. I'll find a ball powder alternative to Varget. Unless I can find Varget, because I really like this stuff. Although you use a lot of powder with Varget. This is 27.5 grains for a 55 grain bullet. So, throw that out there. Fun facts knowing y'all, right? The more information that you have, the better decisions you can make. So that's really the purpose of this video, is just to let you know my experience with AR comp. Not that it's a bad powder, it's just that too much of it ended up on the floor. And the price of powder these days, it doesn't do no good to have powder on the floor. So, with that in mind, have fun, shoot straight, and you have yourself a splendid day. Give me a thumbs up. If you're so inclined, comment in the comment section. Go ahead down there and click in the subscribe button and subscribe to all this tomfoolery. Keep your comments G-rated. I've got kids that watch my channel. Please and other people's children watch this channel, so let's keep it clean. And you have yourself a splendid day. Until next time, adios. What could possibly go wrong? It's not black powder, but you don't want that happening in your garage, do you?